Welcome to Whitespace, Data Center Dynamics weekly look at news from the data center industry. This week, Max is on holiday, so it's me, Peter Judge, and Sebastian Moss. Right, we start with some very old news, I think. 5 years ago, a data center was built in the UK for a very interesting purpose.
Yeah, it's old news, but we're only just finding out about it through good old Edward Snowden and his leaked documents. It's in Menwith Hill, which is this RAF base in England, and they use it to record all this data from satellites that are communicating with each other, people's cell phones, all these kind of things, locations for drone strikes. But they need to store this, and of course that means they need a data center.
Right, okay. And it's interesting, well, obviously we knew this stuff had to be stored somewhere. Local storage is going to be useful and a local facility. 10,000 square metres was added from what it was like. 10,000 square feet was added. And it also says this was the NSA's first Tier 3 data centre.
That's what surprised me. They would have thought they'd, be good with technology and be...
They'd have done that already elsewhere. Well, and also I'm wondering, is it really Tier 3? Did they actually get it certified? It's not on the list of certified data centres that Uptime publishes. So, and this is a leaked internal document from the NSA, so we can't go and ask them.
I think maybe they're lying.
Maybe it's not really Tier 3.
Yeah.
Another sensible story, the fun stuff comes later. We've been wondering for a while whether Verizon will sell its data centres, who it will sell them to, and according to a financial analyst, the answer could be the obvious answer, Quinix. There's not much more to say about this one. Verizon has 14 data centres. It's decided that owning them itself is not the best way to go. It's going to carry on selling the services in them through whoever, to be provided by whoever takes them over. Equinix is giant, it's rich, it's acquisitive, so I'd say it's a fairly good bet that they are the people that are going to buy it, but it's still to be seen.
Doesn't need to worry about the EU as well there, doesn't need to to stop them owning too many data centers.
Yeah, the US does have antitrust activity, but maybe it's not quite so active as the European Union. Okay.
And then, the similar kind of shifting old businesses moving away from this. You've got VMware could be poised to make a big deal with Amazon Web Services.
Right, okay. Now, do we think VMware is completely getting out of running public cloud?
This is the interesting point. We have two different rumours. There's definitely something happening, and Amazon have even said there's a significant announcement coming. But if it's just a little partnership, or they're really shifting, even selling assets to Amazon, we're not sure.
Okay, I mean, and one sort of thing possibly leading up to this, we've already seen this week VMware hand over the control of a joint venture it had in government cloud in the US to its partner QTS, a data center investment trust. Of course, there was one thing that particularly excited us this week. We've long felt that we are fashion icons in the data center industry, and it's finally been recognised, hasn't it?
Exactly. It took its time, and whether they did it very well is a different question. But if you were at the Paris Fashion Week, which I guess you were, Chanel had a big display. It was Data Center Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel is a sort of fashion and makeup company or something, isn't it?
So I've heard.
Yeah, okay. And they re-envisaged their logo in wires, which was interesting because I've often wondered what that logo is.
Now we know.
Yeah, and posed their models or had them walking in front of a mock-up of a data centre. Now, we've been trying to find out what we can about this. It looks to me like it looks sort of spurious and fake, like a stage design, but it's got what looked like actual Ethernet cables going into actual sockets. Though we did spot that the activity lights seemed to be on above some of the empty sockets. So it's, But they've clearly looked at pictures of data centres because they put in the right sort of size racks, and they've got cabling going overhead above it. If we find out more about how Karl Lagerfeld's put this together, we will let you know. From high fashion to high society, we've spotted an opportunity for diversification in the data centre industry. The cannabis industry is growing in more senses than one. It's expanding, and many states are starting to legalise it for medical use and even for commercial use in some cases. And because of the conditions in which it's being grown, that's actually creating a heavy demand for power. Apparently in Denver, it's something like 1 or 2% of the actual electricity usage. And that's all because, due to cannabis still being slightly under the covers, it's grown indoors under lights. 200 watts per square foot has been quoted as the power demand, although I've noticed that sites for people actually going into growing weed themselves seem to think you can get away with 25 watts of LED lighting per square foot.
You really researched this one?
I've looked into it.
Some might almost say you were researching this beforehand, and then people ask you questions, and then suddenly there was an article.
Yeah, well, what can I say? But no, the story, data centres got mixed in with this simply because somebody writing the article about cannabis spotted that the energy requirement that was being stated for it was kind of not that far from the requirement of data centres in the USA. But in fact, there's closer connections than that. As well as needing the lighting, they need cooling and power distribution and the kind of things that data centre infrastructure people do well.
Water.
And water, of course, yes. And we're not the first people to spot this because Stools, the air conditioning experts, have already gone into this business. They have a specialised air conditioning unit for the medical cannabis industry, which looks very much like their data centre units and has similar levels of high reliability and all that.
On that note, do you want to grab a brownie?
Right, that's all for this week from White Space. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.